Hello everyone, welcome to the video series of the book Balance Sheet Analysis and Credit Appraisal for Bankers. The fact that you have opted for this product demonstrates your desire to master the art of balance sheet analysis and learn the nuances of credit appraisal. Whether you are a banker working in the area of advances or just a general banker not working in the credit area but interested in learning balance sheet analysis, or you are an MBA student wanting to know the process of credit appraisal in banks for your interview purpose. Now, whatever is your background, I'm certain that you have made the right decision. This book will guide you stage by stage in the process of credit appraisal, and by the end of this book, I'm confident that you would you would be in a reasonable position to analyze any balance sheet, whether it's a small proprietary or partnership firm or it is a large company. You'll be confident in analyzing any balance sheet presented to you. As you're all aware, there is a book titled Balance Sheet Analysis and Credit Appraisal for Bankers. So you might wonder what this video version of the book is, what additional sections it covers, and why should you go for it. See, the book in the printed form or the electronic version it's a traditional delivery model. No doubt it's highly effective, but it's more suited to a particular profile of readers. Specifically speaking, it's targeted to a younger audience. However, the feedback that I received from the readers of the book was it's very tedious to go through a 750-page book. The reason being, one, the average age of Indian bankers is 35 to 40 years, and they are not comfortable reading a bulky book like this from cover to cover because they've gone past the stage in a career where the student life where they can do that. And even if you're a younger banker and around 25 to 30 years, even then it might have been quite some years since you left college. So as a banker, irrespective of your age, whether you are a young banker around 25 or a senior banker, more comfortable listening to a lecture as in a staff college setting. You listen, you see, you visualize rather than reading a book. So it is for that particular purpose this video series of the book was conceived. I suggest you make the best use of this format. You listen to this video lecture just as you are in a classroom. You try to grasp the contents. If you're uncomfortable at any stage, pause the video, reflect on the content, play if you want. So you can make this video format work for you in more ways than one. I would now briefly would like to tell you the motivation for writing this book, not this video lecture, just the book in particular. This book is basically an attempt to fill a long prevailing gap in the market for an proper advances handbook for bankers. If you go to a decent bookstore and search for books on the subject, books on balance sheet analysis targeted for bankers, you'll be surprised that you'll hardly find a couple of books, 2 to 3 books at the most, good quality books. And surprising, that is really surprising considering the fact that advances is such an important area in banks. It's a very prestigious department, advances department. But it's also an area which scares many bankers. Many people are scary about credit, partly because of the technical nature of the balance sheets and financial analysis, and also partly out of the misconceptions created. Credit is a risky area. You've got to be careful. It will affect your career down the line. Someday you'll be given a charge sheet for the decisions you've taken. So those sort of misconceptions scare a lot of people in truly learning the beauty of balance sheet analysis. I will tell you that balance sheet analysis is not the prerogative of advances officers. It is every banker's desire, and every banker should learn basics of balance sheet analysis. Because it's a very beautiful concept. Every banker I know considers people in advances in awe. These people are, people have this desire, the deep-seated desire, like to analyze balance sheets. Even if they're not in advances, because it's considered to be a highly technical area. But to do that, as I said, the market is devoid of any good books and advances. As a starting point, definitely you made the right decision in buying this book. But I'll also suggest a couple of other books, which as a credit officer or anyone interested in balance sheet analysis should keep in stock. Please visit this website creditappraisal.in, where you will find a section of suggested books. You'll find some 12 to 13 suggested books, the areas of balance sheet analysis. I'm not going to go through each one of them, but the first three, the first one, of course, is the book which we are dealing right now, but the other two books also, in particular, the second book, right? Industrial Finance by R. Vishwanathan. I think he's a retired MD of State Bank of India. I'm not sure of his designation. Maybe retired deputy managing director or something like that. Very good book, published by Macmillan Publishers. This is a book that you should have on your table. A very good manual for bankers. Number three by D.D. Mukherjee is also a good book, but it is quite exhaustive. I don't think so. You'll be requiring each and every topic suggested in the book, but if you are willing to shell out a couple of $100 for this book, it's fine. But these three books, in particular, the first two books, I would strongly recommend to have it in stock. Throughout, especially if you're working in advances, these two books will really guide you in your day-to-day work. Other books, yeah, I mean, based on a particular area, if you're interested in a particular area like accounting or ratio analysis or financial management or financial shenanigans, tricks that companies play to fool people based on a particular a topic. If interested, you can go for the other books, but basically the first two books I would strongly recommend keep in stock. I will back to the motivation for writing this book, but also observe that banks themselves have some advanced manuals. If you're a banker, definitely you must have come across some advanced manuals prepared by a book by a bank, but they're not basics sort of books. They're largely related to your loan policy guidelines and other aspects of the bank. It's not a book starting from scratch. So while they are helpful for the purpose of learning balance sheet analysis, they're not the starting point. There are also other books in the market targeted for students, suited to the mainstream university syllabus. Books for students of commerce and management background. That is the last place you should be starting. I mean, if you want to learn balance sheet analysis from a practical focus, that should not be a starting point because it's too technical and a lot of stuff is anyways not related to you, right? So that is the motivation for writing this book. Hope this book will satisfy and meet the demand of that particular community of bankers. So as I said, the target audience of the book is the practical banker, right? A practicing banker. This is not an academic textbook. If you're a student looking for a book on financial management or accounting, this is not the book for you. This is not an academic textbook. This is a book targeted for practicing bankers who are either working in credit area or interested in the subject. It's also useful to students provided they're interested in learning the process of credit appraisal in banks, so that in the interviews they're aspiring for a career in banking, this book will be an indispensable guide. Other than that, if you're looking for a purely technical manual on accounting and financial management, this is not the book for students. One good thing about the book is it doesn't assume any past or prior knowledge of balance sheet analysis, accounting, or finance. It starts from scratch. So slowly we'll progress stage by stage, take you from the accounting basics, balance sheet terminology, credit terms, ratio analysis, reading financial statements and all related areas of credit in the banking domain. And then by the end of the book, you will be in a reasonable position to thoroughly appreciate the process of credit appraisal in banks and analyze a balance sheet on your own. So this is the flow of the chapters we'll be covering. This book is divided into 17 chapters in all. We'll be following the same order as in the printed book, the same flow and the same order. We'll start with chapter 2, where we'll discuss the accounting basics. Don't be worried. We will discuss only the bare accounting concepts required. Now we'll not go into depth into the many aspects of accounting which a professional accountant looks into. We'll discuss the bare basic accounting concepts that would suffice for our purpose. Now, whether you like it or not, balance sheet analysis has accounting built into it, right? That is the bad news, right? Balance sheet analysis has accounting built into it. That's the bad news. But the good news is it's very basic accounting that you need to be familiar with. You need not worry about intricate details, the accounting standards which a professional chartered accountant goes into. So we'll discuss What the basic accounting terminology that's required for your purpose, right? So that's what we'll discuss in chapter 2. Chapter 3 is an optional chapter, right? I would suggest you at least go to the first couple of pages to get a feel of what this chapter is all about. It is an optional chapter. You can follow the rest of the book even if you skip this chapter, but this chapter provides a nice behind the scenes picture of what actually goes into while preparing a balance sheet. Things like journal, ledger, trial balance, which you need not be worried about, but it provides some nice nuances of the technicalities that go into preparation of balance sheet, right? That is your choice. Chapter 4 then goes into the introduction of financial statements. It provides a bird's eye view of the major financial statements like trading account, profit and loss account, balance sheet, cash flow statement. The bird's eye view. We're not going to in depth in this chapter. This chapter will provide a basic framework for us to get started. Then chapter 5 and 6. Chapter 5 and 6, the bedrock of this book, right? This is the solid foundation on which the entire book is built. Item by item, we'll discuss each and every item that appears in a balance sheet and profit and loss account. By the end of this chapter, I think you should really be comfortable about any item that comes in balance sheet. Its treatment, its accounting treatment, classification, the item actually means, the interpretation, and what are the points that you need to look for when you come across this term. Everything will be discussed in this chapter. We'll then move to chapter 7 where we discuss the term loan appraisal. Term loan appraisal relates to project finance, okay? Things like cost of project, means of finance, DSCR. What are the aspects that you need to look into while considering term loan proposal. The different appraisals, financial appraisal is just one part of project finance. When you appraise a term loan proposal, other appraisals that you need to look into, like technical appraisal, management appraisal, okay, market appraisal. Not in depth, but we'll consider the basics of all this stuff. Of course, the major focus will be on financial appraisal. Chapter 8 then discusses working capital assessment. Here we'll discuss the various assessment methods. You must have heard of things like first method of lending, second method of lending, cash budget, all these assessment methods. Apart from the basics of working capital, what is the purpose of working capital, we'll discuss in this chapter. We'll then move into chapter 9 where we'll discuss non-fund limits, in particular LCs and BGs and the assessment method involved. That is also part of working capital. Chapter 10 then discusses the very important concept of ratio analysis. Okay, ratio analysis is another very critical component of balance sheet analysis. We'll discuss what are the major ratios that you encounter in your professional work. We'll also discuss some of the ratios which are not used in general by banks in India, but we'll see what are the global best practices, various ratios used by analysts worldwide. And we'll also have a look into those ratios. Chapter 11 will then analyze a real life company's financials. We'll take a balance sheet of a real company and start analyzing it. Okay. Chapter 12 to 15, these 4 chapters will discuss 4 case studies. One example, like a company that is starting from scratch. So this company doesn't have any past financials. So when you get a proposal like that, a company has applied for term loan and working capital afresh. What are the aspects that you need to look into while appraising that proposal? Another example, a company is already existing. It was sanctioned term loan in the past. It has now come for working capital enhancement or renewal. So what are the aspects that you need to look into in that context? Another example, existing company availing working capital limit has come for enhancement. So what are the points you need to look into in that context? So different examples will take and analyze the companies. Chapter 16 then discusses bank credit concepts. Bank credit concepts. At the end of this 15 chapters, you would have a very fair idea of most of the terminology that we would encounter in a regular credit appraisal process. But there are some concepts like, see, MSOD or QoS, external credit rating, base rate, all these terms related to credit, which will be useful for you from an interview point of view. So that we'll discuss in chapter 16, right? Finally, we will go for chapter 17, where chapter 17 discusses provides a checklist for advanced proposals. Okay, so when a proposal comes to you, so what are the what are the documents do you need to check for, what are the basic level of scrutiny, what are the points, what are the financial indicators you need to look for. A very basic look at the application. Of course, you will go into depth later. When a proposal comes to you, what are the basic documents and checklist that you need to look into. You can supplement this list with the list of your own requirements. Your bank might have a special requirement which you can append to this, so it will provide a nice checklist on your table. If you keep this 5 to 10 pages, so it will be a very good starting point, right, to start addressing a proposal. So that's it. We can now go ahead and start chapter 2. As I said, we'll be following the same flow of textbook. So we'll start with chapter 2. We'll discuss the credit. We'll start the credit appraisal process by discussing the accounting basics. So we'll meet in the next video.